Water Alchemist. What's happening, man? Thank
Hey,
you for
how
coming.
Silver Devil and
Good.
trying to magic? What they know about that?
Nothing. They don't know nothing about it. Man, yeah, it's good to have you on here, man. I've been watching your channel for a while, and I think a lot of the people that like my kind of stuff like your content as well. So I think there'll probably be a lot of interest in this. Yeah.
Thank you. Very grateful.
Well, thank you very much. We're the grateful ones. But anyway, my friend Kirill, my assistant, he was really excited. He's like, "Oh, I want to be on the show too," and I just didn't think I could get him on because of the technicalities of it. But he said next time, next time.
Hey, well, tell them I said peace and greetings.
Cool, we'll do. All right, awesome. Well, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, like about how long you've been practicing.
It seems like all my life, but the thing is that I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning because I started dealing with Simon's Necronomicon, and I didn't know
Ooh,
what I was doing. And I can admit that when it comes to the 50 names of Marduk, so I didn't know what I was doing. So it's while, and I would make content talking about just because you were a certain skin color, that didn't mean that you were supposed to be with a particular pantheon, because I'm with the Egyptian pantheon as well as the Greek pantheon.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. They think that you have to have blood relation to the pantheon in order to work with it, and it's not entirely so. There are some pantheons that are a little bit stricter about it than others. You're right. But yeah, people are able if they're called to a pantheon, then yeah, obviously, yeah. The Simon's Necronomicon, that's a beast. We all made mistakes though when we were in the beginning, man. Like it's don't feel bad. Like how young were you when you started, man?
I was a little bit older than you, so
Okay.
when it, I started out from the metaphysical perspective, and then I went into occult wisdom.
Okay.
But Orbis, he put me to the test because we did a 6 month pack, and Orbis was like, uh, he wanted me to pose something to you, but I'm gonna wait for that. But
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Orbis,
Nobody beats Horowitz, man. He's the best. He is absolutely the best. Yeah.
and here's the thing about that. This is what I have a question for you and
Okay.
your father, is that
Okay.
when spiritual genesis began when it came to magic.
Where did my start? Where and when did my start happen? Okay,
Correct.
I was about 20 years old, and I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And everything was going bad, man. Like my money was bad. I didn't have a vehicle. It was the middle of winter. I was living in a bad place. And my start I started with the right hand path in kind of a Kabbalistic school, like a mesoteric school that could have become more if I would have done right, but I couldn't do right. I didn't want to do things their way, and I called Aerobus, and my right hand path teacher knew immediately what I had done. She sensed that Sitra on me, and I got kicked right out of the school. So, but the Aerobus meeting was probably the most important thing that ever happened to me because without that guidance from him, and we're talking over a two decade period, I wouldn't be here in this situation with you right now. I wouldn't have made it this far. I feel like, in my opinion, a lot of the problem that beginners and intermediates have is that they don't have any supervision, guidance, or a decent mentor to work with, spiritual or physical, and they're left wandering in the dark for years and years on their own. And now there's so much misinformation on the occult anyway. It's like they really don't know what they're looking for. So
Well, there's
yeah, it was
opportunities in
cool.
every community, and that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. But whatever you're doing, they're going to do that. And the thing is, what I notice when people try to get involved with this path, the hardest thing for them to break through is the religious indoctrination. That's very
Ooh,
hard,
yeah. Yeah.
because if you come from a Catholic or any Abrahamic, path or whatever, Al Islam, etc., it's hard for you to break through. And I don't want to slander any occultistic or even with this whole, I think that we have to have a redefinition of, because people say, if I do this, what's going to happen, or this, that, and the other. Sometimes karma can be not doing anything, and
Yep.
things
Yeah.
just fall in your laps. Like, no. Um, and a lot of people who want to to the left hand path, unfortunately for them, that they get into it the wrong reason. They expect,
Yep.
I want money. If you get into this, put it like this: the right hand path be like Taurus or Thunder. The left hand, like you're getting into a Bugatti. You just got to strap up and enjoy the ride. That's how it is.
Yeah, I definitely feel you about the Abrahamic faiths, and you know what, man? I'm not ashamed to say this, but I still have Judeo-Christian Islamic baggage that I deal with even today. Um, and taking that indoctrination and getting that out of your mind is really the liberation, like the first step. It's not something that's done like overnight, and it's not something that's done in one shot. It happens incrementally that we let go of that. Um, the left-hand path, people falling into predatory circles and stuff. Man, yeah, that's bad. There's a lot of it. Um, there's a lot of it. I don't even know what to say. There's so much of it. I got to the point with it, like we were talking the other day, man, where I closed my doors to pretty much most stuff because I just don't want to. I don't want to entertain it anymore, man. You know, like I don't want to give energy to snakes and vipers. You know, it's like I understand that this is a solitary path for most of us, and we need to stand on our own 2 feet. I get that, but I thought for a long time that people were stronger together in this path. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it
Oh,
is
no,
really truly.
you're actually right. You're actually right, but here's the problem. The dilemma is that you have a lot of broken men and women that come into this, and they get a little juice, so to say,
Yep.
and
Yep.
run away.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what it is, man. That's exactly what it is. Yep.
So
Yep.
your approach is correct. It's just that you can't be an apologist for people who want to be edgy and they want to do this irrespective of who they heard, and they want to have a cult of personality. So that's not your problem.
Yeah, no, I can't make it my problem either. I mean, I gave the community my best for a few years, and people really liked it. If any of the stuff I gave helped other people to move forward or progress, then that's great. Then I'm satisfied with that. I guess I don't need the attention or validation that I used to need. Maybe I just don't need it anymore. Like I'm past it. It doesn't matter what they say or think anymore. It's like I'm good. I'm in my lane. I know I'm in the right lane. I'm going where I'm supposed to go, and I feel pretty good for the first time in about like 20 something years. Like when I tried to walk the middle path between left and right, I was unremarkable in almost every respect. It wasn't until I made that turn leftward and started facing my fears that things started to go right. Does that
What
make sense to you at all?
brought you to that decision? This is for this is for so people will know what brought you to that decision.
I'm going to tell you, I was married and I had a wife who passed away from cancer at a really young age, 38, and I was 33 when no, I was 34 when it happened, and it really hurt, man. It really hurt.
As
I
well as
felt
should.
like yeah, I felt like I had nothing and no one, and I was rebuilding myself from the ground up from that emotionally and spiritually, and I said, I have time to do this right now. I have a place where I can do this in my life. If I don't do this now, I'm going to feel like a coward for the rest of my life. I need to face my fears, and I know I need to go left. And once I did, man, I started bawling, and everything was just good after that. Like I was like, wow, I should have done this like 20 years ago. This is like,
But
yeah,
now, so for the viewers, I want to say this: the Silver Devil, Kobe Bryant, the Magic. Here's the thing: when you go through the clip off, it's going to hurt. Mike B can expound on this. I can expound on this. When
oh
you go
yeah,
through the clip off, it will it will bring you to your. It's like for those who have been in the military or those who have loved ones that serve in the military always breaks you down and builds you back up. So think when you think flip off or the backwards tree or the shadow of the tree of life, it's going to hurt. It's going to be extremely painful.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I used to wake up when I was doing Golakab, the clip of Golakab, and I would wake up crying some mornings, man. It was that bad. It was really that bad, bro. Yeah, people that don't have a traumatic experience, I don't believe they did it right. You know, that's my opinion. Because if it was easy to do clip off, you know,
Everyone be
then I don't think.
everyone be
Yeah,
doing.
you know,
And
right.
say this though, might be. Do you know that there's some people that are pronouncing their arrogance, say, "Oh, I got through the whole clip off for 2 3 weeks." I'm like, no, you
Oh,
didn't.
stop it. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
there's
stop it.
whether it
Yeah.
be Bola Chop and Drama League, it's no way you could have went through that because you would be really in an insane asylum. This so
Yeah.
I have to summarily dismiss that.
Yeah, I don't consider anything less than 7 days per clipa, and that's on the first initiation. I don't think anything's legitimate less than 7 days, maybe. And I tried 9 on my second time, and that was still very challenging. 7 days would be the minimum, I would say, in my opinion. That's what VK I think recommended with his. Do you remember the rites of the Akaraim, which was
Correct.
VK's? Yeah, yeah, okay. Do you
Yes,
remember how he took those down from his WordPress and replaced them with something really weak and watered down? I have the originals when they
okay.
were still hot, when they
That
were
could
still really hot. And
that could a lot of people because I realize that when you're doing this, and I hate to, well, no, actually, I don't. A lot of people think magic is like Amazon Prime. They want to get through stuff in a week, in 2 weeks, and if you're going to do this, magic is like chess. So what magic teaches you is that you have to have patience. It's not going to happen overnight.
yeah,
It's not going to be. It's not going to happen a month, and then you have to have that aha moment. And then the thing is, I see with a lot of people is that you can't personalize it. Certain angels or spirits, jinn or whatever, they'll look over you, but they're not gonna really work with you like that because the thing is there's a spirit better suited for you, or they feel like you're just not you're in it for the wrong reason. You're not gonna put the work in.
or the
Think,
or the timing is bad. The timing could be bad also. You know.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like Orbis is tremendous. Tremendous. They're like you've been doing this with Prince Orbis for like, if I'm not mistaken, like 20 years, correct or incorrect?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he told me that he wants you to deal with your hypertension.
I do have hypertension too. That's crazy. Wow.
Yep,
Yeah.
Orbis. Yeah, when I got on here,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
it was,
just had that happen, man. Nice. Nice Prince Aerobus moment, brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
always, man. We gotta stick together. We all we got. He said he got his and then you letting certain people stress you out, and that's only adding to it. So that's a message, and I take no credit for this. This is from Prince Orbis to
I
Mike
got
B.
I got you, brother. That was suave. That was smooth, and that's how he does it too. And does he do this with you, where he makes you say every word exactly how he said it to you,
I
like
don't have
with
no
the same intonation?
I don't have no choice. I would get into tremendous trouble. So I like to avoid all that. So
Yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. I have to give the message just like he gave it to me, or he freaks out.
I
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
no more problems.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's
uh
awesome. Man, that's intense, bro. That's intense.
so
That's cool. Yeah, I got to take care of that hypertension, man. That's bad business. And you know, at this age, I smoke too much. I don't live a healthy lifestyle, to be honest. You know, I gotta start taking better care of things. You're right, yeah, and he's right too. And if he didn't care, now that's the interesting part that you just brought up, and I tell people this all the time. People think that we are personifying spirits or making them like. I tell them, no, look, they have a personality, an agenda, a mind, and feelings of their own, and they can have feelings like love or friendship or kindness or respect. They can understand those things. They don't really mess with us like that on that level often unless they really like us or trust us. But having a real friendship is possible with him. I know for a fact, and you know it too. And people don't think that that's possible sometimes. Like it's like, well, yeah, they definitely do have feelings. I mean, they definitely do have. Yeah, and some people don't think that it's possible, but I know it is. So you know. But yeah, if he didn't care, he wouldn't have given you the message. So I'm grateful in that respect. Yeah, real
so
grateful.
let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, listen up. This is the Mike B experience with a cameo by the Water Alchemist. Let's talk about the difference between a demonology, and a demonosity.
Would you like me to
Now,
start, or would you like
A demonologist is someone that worships demons.
Worship. Yep.
Problem with that
I do
is,
not worship them. Nope.
that, and I mean no respect, and I'm speaking respect. This is what we're trying to get away from.
Mhm.
We want to get into worship. Now, a demonosopher is someone that works in concert with practitioner, the witch or the sorcerer. So I would have to be the latter. I work in concert because when you really work with them, here's the key. Beginners, listen up. Demons want you to be respectful and appreciate them. They don't want you to bow and genuflect. Because if you're coming from a place of fear, that's going to be problematic.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
So,
I'll tell you what I think too.
go ahead.
Worship is something that weakens us, brother. It makes us small. And like most of us had to break away from worshiping anything. Why would we want to elevate something above us again? Are we so comfortable kneeling before something? I mean, why don't we celebrate our own divinity? You know, why don't we try that? You know, celebrate our own divinity.
That,
Working with
that's
the demons is
that's a good
fabulous.
question. That's a good
Hmm.
question. I would like to say, for somebody that's really starting out, I mean, especially if they're from the Bible Belt, etc., what
Mhm.
spirits would you recommend that they
If they have a Christian background, and are they attracted to the left or to the right? I mean, because everybody's predominantly one or the other, I believe. And if they are
right,
predominantly,
right,
if they were
right?
predominantly right, I would tell them to work probably with the Shem or the Days and Hours angels, or even maybe the Orphic deities like um, the entities that deal with the planets, like the ones that have the sun, the Jupiter, like those celestials are pretty good to work with.
The Olympian like Aratron or
Yeah,
Betor.
that's exactly who I was thinking too. Eritron.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep. Those are good
er-
people to work with. I mean, you can work with the archangels too. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't mess with the angels much anymore myself. I don't. I don't really want them around, to be honest. I mean, I use Shem quite a bit,
mhm.
and I've done Tree of Life and all that. But I feel like they meddle, bro. Like they meddle and they cause disruption. You know, like,
Well,
I
if
have two temples. I have
you want to get
inner
a
five
job,
lumens and the outer earth.
one right, work with Citrael. So for all the viewers watching this, work with Citrael because he would bring prosperity in there. And I would say that if you're somebody, because there are closed pantheon, are basically it's not so much you being black or African American. You really have to come from that lineage. The Norse pantheon, contrary to belief, it's not really closed. The Hindu pantheon is more closed than that. But if you get
Yeah,
on the like Lakshmi or Lord Ganesha, who's
yeah.
fantastic, it'll work out. But I want you to talk about your experience with the gin. I have
Oh,
to
with the
take.
gin. Oh God, I love the gin, man.
Come
First
on,
of all,
man.
here's a good book for beginners. Corwin Hargrove's Practical Gin Magic. I love that stuff. I love it. You can follow that, and it's a very beautiful system of command structure. It begins with certain jinn and deity level invocations like El, chanting El for Elohim. It puts you at a certain level of the tree of life, and then you work your way down to the jinn, and you go through the archangels, then the ruler of the day, then the king of the day, and then the three servants of that king. It's very easy to work with, and it's basically because you're left hand oriented. You understand you're hijacking that chain of command, and you're assuming the role of the top supervisor. And when you do that, and you work your way down through the list, at the bottom they just fall in line and do exactly what you say. A lot of people get about 50% success rates with gin. I'm pushing about 70-75. I use it all the time. It's good
What
stuff.
give to intermediate? Not not saying beginners, but
Okay.
to what tips and
Bale
tricks?
Cadmon. Bale Cadmon's books on gin are really good stuff. Um, and it talks about different kinds and classifications like shaitans, ghouls, marids, ifrit, the different classifications of jinn themselves. And he's got some really good methods to bind them to objects. Now, here's the thing. I don't like to bind spirits to objects
No,
unless
but
they're really asking for it. Yeah, right. I don't want to do that because I don't want it done to me. So why would I want to do it to other things? Now there is a way to make agreements with them to work with each other for a certain length of time. and the object can be a focal point where that they reside. And then after the time is over, then they're able to leave and take their reward or so on and so forth. That's cool, but I wouldn't want to make it a forced situation. You know what I mean?
Talk to him, Mike B. Talk to him. They ain't ready.
Yeah.
Talk to
Now,
him.
Bail Cadmon he writes some really good stuff, but you got to be. It's for intermediates. It's not for beginners because with a beginner you're going to get into trouble. And when you get a djinn fucking with you guys, now I'm going to tell you what, it's all bad. It will literally jump from person to person to person all fucking day, looking at you crazy and saying things that only you understand. When you got a djinn following you around fucking with you, you can't even banish it. Banishing rituals of the pentagram, hexagram, stop it. No, it's not going to work. You have to have a technique called dispersal in order to get rid of the djinn. And that's not an easy thing to pick up. Like, I can demonstrate it if you want to grab the singing bowl real fast, and I'll show. Okay, yeah, I'll show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. This is how I would deal with a pesky djinn. This is how I would do it. Singing bowl, brass Tibetan. I would strike it 3 times, go counterclockwise. And that vibration, you take the spirit and put it in the bowl. Like, come here. And that vibration is going to drive him absolutely batshit crazy. It's going to make him weak, disoriented. It's it could even destroy it totally if it's weak. It will it will be like a cloud that like another cloud or a gust of wind hit that blew away. That's what it's like. That's about the only thing that works. The other option you would have would be Marquis Larage. I know that from experience, but those are the only 2 ways that I know to get rid of them.
Glad. I'm grateful for your insights because a lot of people want to work with the gin that even come on my channel and even came on yours, I'm sure. So the whole thing is I want to give them the best qualitative information so a gin won't wreck their household, basically.
And it can too, man. They are some dangerous things. They really are. Can be,
Mm-hmm.
can be. Some of them can grant wishes for real. Like I've seen it happen. Um,
But what does that come with, though? Tell everybody, where does that come?
well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like if you get a married jinn, a married, if there's 2 kinds, there's good and bad. And
Mm-hmm.
the bad ones will ask you a riddle, and if you don't answer it correctly, they'll curse the shit out of you. I'm like
Yep.
disease, madness, you know. And if you get a good one and you answer the riddle right, he'll grant you a wish. And but
But
he won't tell you he's going to grant you a wish. He's going to wait for you to say something, and then he'll be like, "Granted." And you'll be like, "Wait a minute, wait, no, I want to take that back. Let me get a different wish." Yeah, man. Yeah, the jinn or something else. Ifrits. Now, according to legend, um, King Solomon wanted the queen of Ethiopia to come to Israel, and he asked an Ifrit jinn to go and pick her up. And the moment that he asked, in a single moment later, she was delivered into Solomon's care. Like, they're able to do things with great speed. A lot like Prince Seer does of the Goetia when he changes time and moves time back. Or yeah. So,
oh,
but these things.
okay. I'm loving this. You loving this, might be? I'm loving this. I'm loving
Oh,
this right.
yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to run off at the mouth. I enjoy it. Yeah, yeah.
What's
Um,
for time? What spirits can you work with that's good for time? I know Lord Ganesha is good, but what
yeah.
spirits
Oh,
would
yeah.
for
Seer.
manipulate time manipulation?
Seer's my go-to guy. Like when the cards are telling me, hey, look, it's going to take months or weeks to get this done. I go to Seer and I say, hey, Seer, look, can we speed this up? Because he'll move time in the astral and in the etheric, and it will translate into us making kind of faster, longer steps here and catching up to our eventual goal much quicker. He uh, can be hard to deal with sometimes. He's cocky. He knows he's strong. Um, I definitely use a triangle with him, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to keep him in there. It's not to bind him into anything. It's just like a seat for him to be comfortable in. And obviously, with the number 3 sides, it relates to Saturn and the densification of spirit into a stronger presence in this world. Um, But I definitely use a circle with him too, just because he's pretty strong, So that's my go-to guy. What's your go-to guy?
Oh wow. My go-to actually is Lucifer. That's my
Okay. All right, I can see that.
Yeah, that's my go-to. But I feel like the more confident and proficient you become is that you will be able to work with other spirits and people. Spirit is not going to ingratiate themselves to you, but like I said, I work with him. I work with Set, Beelzebub, Orbis, of course. That's one of the
Hmm.
decisions I've ever made. So those are some. Athena, I work with Athena, so
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like a couple of the Greeks myself. I'm kind of partial to Poseidon. I think he's pretty cool. Um, Lucifer, I like Lucifer a lot, but I don't like to call him that, and I'll tell you why. There's a
go ahead.
lot of people think a lot of different things about Lucifer. It's a loaded word. It's like everybody has an attachment to it that's not always correct, not always logical, and it's not
Hmm.
always factually accurate. I prefer Archangel Halo because that's who he was before he got the name Lucifer. It was Halo. And I don't, to my knowledge, just because he's a fallen angel doesn't mean that he stopped being an archangel. Okay. For example, fell. Archangel Azrael, who fell. Those are both angels of death. And they
Hmm.
repented and were able to come back. Very much like in the Yazidi myth, the peacock angel Melik Taus, who is basically Lucifer, is able to come back through repentance, which is an interesting concept of reattaining the state of grace that they lost. But it is possible. And when you read the Goetia, there are about seven, no, maybe five spirits that are looking to return back to heaven, or so they say. Um,
Marchos, one of them,
yeah,
like
Marcosius. Yep. Marcosius. Yep. Yep. I love the fallen angel class of Goetia. Like those are the spirits that I get down with the best, man. I don't know why that is, but I jive with them really well. So
well, you like to take chances, so you know what that's about. So
yeah,
you like
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
so give all the viewers
This is
we want to give all the viewers the best qualitative information because what I notice with a lot of people, they just want you to jump head first and they don't give no tips, no precautions, no anything. But we don't want to do that here.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah, safety first, guys. You've only got one mind and you've only got one body right this second, so you got to take care of that. To be unprepared for the occult is to court disaster. Literally, it's to court disaster. And that comes from me. That comes from him. I know that he was the exact same thing on this. If you start going and trying to do rituals like the bornless ritual or the headless ritual, and you just started in the occult, you're going to get yourself fried. It's going to be a disaster. There are certain things that you need to build up to and go about in a certain way. You know what the problem is, Alchemist? Let me tell you this.
Hmm.
We live in a society now that is what we call post-truth. Everybody believes that their opinions are facts, okay? And and like when they hear something or read something they don't like or agree with, they just dismiss it and push it out of their and go back to thinking and believing what made them feel good. And you can do that with a lot of shit, but if you do it with the occult, you're gonna get fucked up. I'm just keeping it real. Like
No,
there
no,
is a right and wrong way to go.
no, you are gonna
Yeah.
get, and once you get
Yeah.
smacked, here's how it's gonna play out. Two scenarios. So I want people that's gonna view this. This is gonna be a winner right here. This is how it's gonna play out. You lay mental instability, or you're gonna go back running back to the church or the mosque. I'm just gonna be
Yep.
honest to you.
One or the other. Yep. Yep. One or the other, bro. You're absolutely right. Yep. Yep. That's exactly what happens. Yeah, the left man is not. You know what I also noticed about the left? I've never met a left-hand path magician that was legit that didn't have serious trauma in their life. It's like trauma is the thing that binds us all to the left. Trauma is the gateway to Nahemoth and Klipoth. Trauma is that portal that we walk through in order to embrace the night side. Um,
But how Nama and Lilith and all of them do, I said when you attract, like someone asked me a question. They said, "What brought you to this path?" I said, "Pain,
yeah.
pain."
Yep. Yep.
So not like know it, but I'm not. I don't want to be flippant, but the thing is, they know. So when you have so much trauma and hardship in your life, they like, okay, if all else fails, you're gonna come to this. And
Yeah.
once you come to this, we ain't gonna let you go. I do want to say this to people. Once you start getting on this path, never ever call yourself dismissing the spirit they've been doing you solace. Because they keep a lot of stuff away from you. You know, like the courts,
Mhm.
law enforcement,
Yep.
that
Yep.
type of stuff. You get jumped on, they keep that away. So when you say, well, I don't want anything to do with you no more, or you take them for granted, all they're gonna do is move off the side and be like, okay, he's all yours. Or
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
choose. If you, this path is not for the weak. It's not for the weak, not for the lazy. If you're a procrastinator, I would highly suggest that you keep going to church. I would really
Yeah.
highly suggest,
Yeah.
just don't run into incoming traffic. Stay in your lane. That's, I would really
Yep.
highly suggest.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Oh, I wanted to tell you something about demonology, an opinion I have real quick. I forgot to tell you this, and I want to see what you think.
Go.
I like a few of their techniques, and I think that the way that they connect with entities, especially infernal ones, is really superior than a lot of other techniques in ceremonial magic. And when I say that, I specifically mean the ends chant. The ends chant, if you've ever been on YouTube and you've listened to the Astra Inferni series of ends chants, and I know you have, everybody has, that series, Astra Inferni, is the fucking fire. It's the
Yes,
fire, and it
agreed.
brings them so fast. It brings them. You could feel the change. I think that's an awesome aspect of demonaltry, and I've incorporated techniques of theirs into my practice, but I'm not a demonaltrist. Um,
No, it's
I
about what works.
definitely, yeah,
I'm gonna make
exactly right.
it further.
Yeah.
It's not work. Not only is this stuff effective, just like the Gallery of Magic, like with Corin Hargrove,
Mhm.
Henry Archer.
Yeah.
I I don't want to offend anybody, but their stuff is better than certain things from the Order of the Golden Dawn. I know that will
Oh
seem
yeah.
black, but that's what I've learned. So I'm not saying that the Order of the Golden Dawn stuff don't work, but with S. Connolly as well as like Corin Hargrove, Henry Archer, etc., and even Theodore Rose, Lucifer and his Hidden
Hmm.
Demons, their
Yep.
stuff,
I love that. Oh wow, love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more progressive. So I'll say it
Yeah,
like
that
that.
is progressive. Yeah, tool free. That I tried that one time to contact Andromalius while I was waiting for a contact that stood me up for 3 hours in the city of Manila. And I couldn't get a hold of him on his phone. I'm like, fuck, man, you have stolen 3 hours from me in the miserable heat in the city. I'm going to call Andromalius via the Lucifer and the Hidden Demons technique. And it worked. 10
Great,
minutes later, he was, yeah, yeah.
great book. If you
Yeah,
want to go for that's going to work, get Theodore Rose book. Get that book.
yeah. Yep, that's a good book, man. That's and I love using tools, wands, and tentacles and stuff. I love all that. But there are times that you can't do that. There are times when you're on the fly and you got to make it happen right then and there without that.
Yeah,
And
and you're living in someone else's house. Like if you don't have your own place and you're living in somebody else's house, then it's like, okay, because you can burn the candle and say a name that other than Jesus, they're gonna put you out. So
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, that doesn't live in this house. They're going to tell you. Yep, that's exactly what it's going to be. And they're going to feel it. They're going to feel that sense of darkness. They're going to feel that citrakra energy. It actually makes them scared and sick. Like, and I tell people, like, Valak, he's a great spirit.
oh
The
yeah,
way he appears to us is very different than how he'll appear to them. They get that scary nun shit, that exorcist, the conjuring of Emily Rose. When we get Valak, he's usually pretty cool. You know?
but that on purpose. They do that to mess with
Yeah,
people. Like
yeah, for sure.
if
Yep.
supernatural with Dean and Sam Winchester, then we're gonna just fall in line with that. So, and then you get to screaming and running for the hills. They be like, "Ha ha, got you." So that's
Yeah.
you know. That's their
They
sense
can
of
take
humor.
any form they want, really, and if they want to take a scary form, it's to make a point to you. Yeah, it's absolutely to make a point. Normally they don't do that because it's not in their interest to do that. Like I saw the scary side of Aerobius once, and it was actually really scary. Like I was like, wow, you know. But yeah, we got to do this again, man. I'm sorry, I'm tight for time because I got to teach tonight, but we got to do this again. We got to chop it up again. This was great.
You have me on. Thank you very much, and I'm
Oh
looking forward
man, my
to the
pleasure.
video.
My pleasure, bro. I'll chop it up with you again soon. I'll come on your show or whatever. And thanks for coming very much. You guys, thank him very much for coming. We will see you guys next week. Peace. It's Mike B, the Silver Devil, Dark Out of the Clippa, and the Water Alchemist. Good night, guys.
Good night.